Girls, welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who's joined us here on the program tonight. I want to wait just a few minutes until we can confirm that we are indeed on the air. YouTube is not giving us confirmation of it yet. All I get is the wheel going round and round. Wheel goes round and round and round and round. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. My counter here on my device that I'm broadcasting on says I've been on the air 57 seconds, now 60 seconds. So YouTube still has not made it right. So I'm going to try to do this again to make sure we're on there. Yes, we're now on the air. Yeah. Hello, Demon Catman. Jackie from Hawaii is here. Charlie's here, USA born and bred. Thank you so much for being here. Sleeping Volcanoes here. Wonderful. That's awesome. Can somebody give me a 5x5 letting us know you see our video and our audio's fine? Please give us that. Jamie Wilkie is here. Gene Shannon is here. Thank you so much for that. Demon Catman, like I said, is here. 5x5 from Demon Catman. Charlie, Demon Catman, both give us 5x5. So now we're on the air. I'm going to proceed with this broadcast now since it shows that we're on the air. Finally. Go figure. You know, we've been doing this for quite some time. And USBS and YouTube continues to give us a bad time. Isn't that just what they do? They get a kick out of giving Emergency Management Associates a bad time. They've been doing it for a very long time. Folks, we are broadcasting from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. I want to show you some pictures that I have that I've saved for you about what we're going to talk about. Give me just a second here. We're talking about Kilauea. Okay, this is what is going on in Kilauea. Kilauea is again erupting. Now this is not erupting in the same manner as Kilauea has erupted in the past. The eruption today happened at about 12:30 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Kilauea erupted at 12:30 a.m. Hawaii time. Now what has happened? Okay, what has happened? Let's discuss this. Okay, I want to be very clear about this. Okay, I'm going to give you the information that we have about what is happening at Kilauea. Now, there has been a fissure eruption. That fissure eruption is not, and I repeat, is not inside the Kilauea volcano caldera. Inside the rim of the volcano, it's not there. It's on the southwestern side of Kilauea. All of the eruption is on the southwestern side of Kilauea. Now, this is Alert 1, severity of danger, because the volcanic eruption has happened outside the rim of the volcano. Dustin's here, just gave us a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Dustin. For that, I'm going to give you an EMA sticker on the super chat. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that so much. God bless you for that. Now, I want to say this is severity of danger. The lava has gone outside the fissure. Now I'm going to explain it. Okay, so please hang in here with me. A new eruption of Kilauea began this morning at about 12:30. A lava glow was visible from the summit area overlooks before dawn. The summit overlooks, okay? The parking lot above Kilauea volcano is where the summit overlook is. That is the Kilauea Observatory. Okay? They saw early this morning a lava glow visible from the summit overlooks before dawn. No lava view is possible at this time. No one is allowed to be there except USGS and park rangers. They are assessing the eruption area right now. They're not going to allow anybody into the area right now. As of this morning, again, Kilauea was erupting. The current volcano alert level is watch. The current aviation color code is orange. The volcano alert level is watch and the current aviation color code is orange. Only because they are not sure if the fissure eruption is going to go higher than it is. The fissure eruption is going up into the air about 60 to 80 feet right now. Now, the volcanoes have erupted very high. In the past, Kilauea and all the other volcanoes have erupted very high in the atmosphere. There's been ash eruptions, ash and volcanic gas eruptions, sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide, and ash going high in the air. That's not what is going on this time. The eruption is a fissure eruption only right now. The fissure is about 4 kilometers long, 2.5 miles long. Richard is talking about a 4.5 earthquake in Tonga. I'm well aware of that. There was also a large eruption, not eruption, but a large earthquake in Kilauea, or not Kilauea, Tonga earlier today. This again is southwest of Kilauea caldera. I'm going to show you where that is right now. There are over 200 earthquakes around Kilauea right now. Over 200 earthquakes. Okay, let me get my pen out to show you a good idea of what's going on. Right here, this is the Kilauea volcano, Halemaumau crater. Look where all these earthquakes are. Just southeast of the caldera, we have 10 plus earthquakes, but look at the earthquakes here. Over 200 earthquakes here. Now, the lava flow, let me enlarge this so you can see it. The lava flow is over here, right there. Okay? It is just south and east of the Kilauea caldera, Halemaumau crater. This is where the fissure eruption is. You can see all these earthquakes in and around the caldera area. Okay? All around this area here. This is where all the earthquakes are. Now, we reported last Friday that there were a lot of earthquakes all over the area. We reported on swarms of earthquakes occurring. That is still ongoing. Now, I'm going to explain in just a second what exactly we're seeing. Please, AG, please do not have all caps. We do not have all caps here. Don't do that. If you want to put up a chat here in our chat, that's fine. But please refrain from using all caps in your chat. This time your chat was just deleted. Okay? If you want to chat here, don't do that. Okay, let me get back to my explanation here. Again, the eruption happened southwest of Kilauea. I hope I pronounced this right. Kilauea area. Southwest of Kilauea area. The Kilauea caldera. It is within the Hawaii Volcano National Park. The eruption is within the Hawaii Volcano National Park. The eruption is currently ongoing, but it's taking place in a remote location within the park. It is low in eruptive volume, and it does not pose an immediate threat right now to human life or critical infrastructure. There is nothing over there where the eruption is happening. Lava is currently erupting from a fissure system, approximately 1 kilometer, 0.6 miles in length. One fissure is currently active. 3 additional fissures were active last night, but are no longer active this morning. Like I said in my first report here, the fissure eruption looked like it was 4 miles long. It is not now. The fissure has stopped erupting to a certain extent. Only 1 fissure is currently active. Lava flows are thin. Lava flows are thin, meaning the lava coming out of Kilauea volcano where it's at is very thin. Okay? It's very viscous. Now, the lava flows have only traveled a few hundred meters or yards from the fissure. The total area covered by new lava is currently estimated at a few thousand square meters, yards. Numerous large ground cracks have formed in the vicinity of the eruption. Let me show you those. Look at that fissure. Okay, that is not where the volcano is erupting. I repeat, this is not where the volcano is erupting. Numerous fissures have opened up in the ground. Numerous fissures have opened up in the ground. It is going to be an ongoing issue. This will be an ongoing issue. Okay, let me show you another fissure here. Look at this. Again, this is what's going on right now. Large cracks have opened up in the earth. Look at that. That is a huge ground crack. Now, the scientists do not know whether these ground cracks will erupt as a volcano. They don't know whether lava is going to spill out of these or not. They are watching this situation very closely. Very, very closely. Now, I want to tell you this. We've also been watching this since early this morning. I want to make sure that everybody realizes how serious this really is. We've been analyzing this since we first got up this morning. We've been keeping a close eye on what is happening. Now, I want to show you another slide I've got here. I want to show you exactly where the eruption is happening. Okay? Okay? You see where the South Caldera region is. This is where Kilauea summit is. Okay? The present eruption site is southeast of there, right here. Okay? Right here is where the present eruption site is. For those of you that know about Pu'u'o, back in 2019, Pu'u'o had lava in it, and Kilauea also had lava in it. Both volcanoes emptied out their lava. Within a day or so after that, great big huge fissures opened up to the northeast in what they call the northeast rib zone. That has not happened this time. But the fissure opened up here and is presently erupting in this area here. We don't expect for all of a sudden the lava to stop flowing and something else to happen out here in the East Rib Zone. We don't believe that's going to happen right now. This is the site of the 1974 eruption, September 1974. The same kind of eruption that's happening today, this fissure eruption, this same thing happened in 1974. Okay? I wanted to make sure we have this information for you because I want you to understand what is going on now. I think this is very important. Now, do we know exactly what's going to happen? No, we don't. But what I can tell you is it's serious. Because of the eruption site, if this eruption continues and gets out of hand, where more and more lava is flowing out from the present eruption site, more and more lava will go out towards the ocean. More and more lava will flow down the mountainside, down towards the ocean site. Now, are there any other towns around it? No. Pahala, that we talked about in the past, Pahala is a great long distance from this present eruption. Right now, there is absolutely no civilian casualties, nor will there be if things happen like they're talking about. Nothing's happened right now. There's only one fissure that's currently active. Again, 3 additional fissures were active last night, but those are no longer active this morning. Like I said, lava flows are very thin right now. The lava is very viscous, meaning it's not thick. Okay? It's not thick. Again, the total lava covered on the ground away from the fissure is only about a few thousand square meters or square yards. Numerous large ground cracks, like I have shown you, have formed in the vicinity of the eruption. This eruption is currently occurring in the same approximate location as the September to December eruption 1974. Fissures from this eruption have the same orientation as fissures from the 1974 eruption. The 74 eruption lasted about 6 hours, but it was more voluminous and covered a much larger area. At this time, it's not possible to say exactly how long the current eruption will last. Like I said, the December eruption in 1974 lasted about 6 days. Due to the remote location of this eruption, the primary hazards at this time are airborne hazards. VOG, volcanic air quality. Okay? Volcanic air quality. Gas emissions and tephra being blown downwind of the eruption. Tephra is ash. So there is a breeze going on. There is some wind that's blowing the gas emissions and the tiny ash particles from the eruption. Now, volcanic gases and steam are being emitted from the eruptive fissure system and from nearby ground cracks. Emissions data are being collected and analyzed as we speak. And we do not have any reports from the Hawaii Volcanic Observatory. Okay? Those will come in future updates. Now, a map that I showed you just a few minutes ago showing the location of the past eruptions in this area and the approximate location of this present eruption I gave you now. Now, the summit and the upper rift zone observations are this. Again, the summit of Kilauea and the upper rift zone north of Kilauea. It's heightened unrest. As I showed you on this map just a few minutes ago, let me get this map back out here. I want you to understand what we're seeing and what is actually going on. Okay? As we've shown you here, this is Kilauea volcano here. We have earthquakes up here. Earthquakes are magma beneath the surface that are causing these earthquakes. We have a great deal of earthquakes down here. Okay? But look where all these earthquakes are happening. Okay? This is just north of the eruptive fissure zone. 200 plus earthquakes. 200 plus earthquakes. Heightened unrest in the upper east rib zone and upper southwest rib zone. And that is continuing, although the rates of seismicity, meaning the size of those earthquakes, are low. Now, as the volume of lava pours out of the fissure, the ground deformation has decreased, meaning the ground rose up right before the volcano erupted. Now it has decreased. Okay? It has decreased. Now, it started decreasing shortly before the eruption began because the lava had been pushing through the rock. We've explained this before. The lava had been pushing through the rock and formed a dike, something like I'm showing you right now. The magma down underneath the ground was trying to force an eruption out. That's what happened. Now the lava has been flowing out and the deformation has decreased. The upper part of the ground went up just prior to the eruption. Now it's gone down. Okay? More than 400 earthquakes have occurred during the past 24 hours. Most of them were occurring between noon yesterday and midnight last night, when the rates exceeded 30 earthquakes per hour. Okay? Last night. The largest earthquakes that included a 4.1 moderate earthquake. That was about 9:12 p.m. last night. A 4.0 event happened at 7:07, 2 hours prior to that. Earthquakes were widely felt in the Hawaii Volcano National Park and the surrounding communities and triggered many rockfalls. The surrounding communities I'm going to show you right now. Okay? Up here, right up here, is one of the closest earthquakes. Okay? Now we're going all the way down here. Okay? I want to show you something. See all these earthquakes up around Kilauea, just south of Kilauea? Let's go over here to Pahala. I want to go down here to Pahala. This is the nearest community to Kilauea. That is where our friend Laura is right now. She and her husband came over here to Pahala to see her grandson graduate. And yes, I do have a picture of her grandson and her husband John here. It's a great picture. That young man graduated from high school just prior to this eruption happening. The earthquakes that have happened have triggered some rockfalls. Approximately 50 earthquakes occurred beneath the summit, the upper east rib zone, and the upper southwest rib zone over the past 8 hours. As the rate of earthquakes decreased to less than 10 earthquakes per hour, earthquake depths continued to average 1 to 3 kilometers deep, about 1.33 miles deep. Okay? 0.6 to 1.9 miles beneath the surface. The magma started hitting the surface, and as that magma hit the surface, all of a sudden the pressure released, and there weren't as many earthquakes. Okay? But the depth came from 1 to 3 kilometers deep, 0.6 to 1.9 miles beneath the surface. That's pretty deep. Demon Catman says he hopes Laura Marie and her family stay safe. I agree. They are far enough away from the volcano. I think they're going to be fine. Now, if it would happen that there would be a larger eruption, if it would happen that there would be a larger eruption than is happening now. In other words, the fissure eruption goes higher into the air. Okay? Like I'm talking about 6 to 10 miles high. Then it would be a significant problem. But right now, there's not that problem. Okay? Tilt meters in the area, meaning the pressure from where the magma is coming from under the ground. Tilt meters recorded significant increased changes in the direction of ground deformation. Changes. Okay? The ground was rising up, like I said. And some places the ground was going down, but significantly where the eruption started happening, where the fissure opened up, the ground deformation had gone up until the fissure opened up. Then the ground deformation, meaning the ground elevation, started going back down. Okay? This is seismic offsets, or what they call co-seismic offsets during the past 24 hours. It increased and then it decreased. Okay? There's a place called Ukahuna. The tilt meter there, which is northwest of the Kilauea summit, recorded a total, get this, they recorded a total of 14 microradians of deflation. That's not much. 14 microradians of deflation over the past 24 hours as the magma traveled to the southwest towards the area where the eruption eventually occurred. Okay? The lava went, or the magma down beneath the surface, left the Kilauea's subduction area, not the subduction area, the Kilauea caldera area, and moved south to the southwest. Okay? To where that eruption finally happened today. The Ukahuna tilt meter northwest of the summit recorded 6 microradians of deflation over the past 8 hours since the volcano erupted at 12:30 a.m. The Sand Hill tilt meter southwest of the summit recorded a total of approximately 50 earthquakes, or I'm sorry, not 50 earthquakes, 50 microradians of inflation. 50 microradians of inflation, meaning ground rising up, between 8 a.m. yesterday and 8 p.m. today. That was prior to the eruption. The ground was rising up as the magma tried to find its way to the surface. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Laura Marie says, hey, EMA, thank you, Demon Catman. I'll check on them and report back. Apparently, Laura Marie and her husband have probably flown back to Oregon. Okay? Matt Martin is asking, is the Helena slump at risk? Not right now. We don't believe that this eruption today will in any way cause a problem at the Helena slump. The Helena slump is also an area that has for years opened up into a rift zone area itself. It opened up into a fissure area. The fissure area covers probably 3 or 4 miles. Now, some people have theorized that the Helena slump would break off from the island, from the big island of Hawaii, and drop into the ocean. Some people have thought that that Helena slump would drop off in the ocean and cause a tsunami on the west coast of the United States. That has not happened, and right now there is no plans or idea that the Helena slump will be affected. Okay, right now everything's fine. Now, Again, the tilt meter at the Sand Hill, southwest of the summit of Kilauea, recorded a total of inflation of 50 microradians. That's a great deal of ground uplift. That happened between 8 a.m. yesterday and 8 p.m. last night, as the magma was trying to reach its way to the surface, just 4 hours later. Now, followed that, there was approximately 35 microradians of deflation. It rose up 50 microradians and then it went down 35 microradians since 8 p.m. and this morning, as the magma moved away from the station and the eruption hit the surface. The Sand Hill tilt meter southwest of the summit has recorded approximately 12 microradians of deflation in the past 8 hours, meaning it recorded 35 microradians between 8 p.m. and this morning. And now it's recorded approximately 12 more microradians of deflation, meaning a total of 47 microradians of deflation, meaning there's only 3 microradians difference between 8 a.m. yesterday and now. The ground has gone back down as the lava has erupted out of the surface. That is a good thing. That means the lava flow is decreasing. The magma is coming up out of the fissure and the lava has formed on the ground now. And because of that, the deflation or the subsidence of the ground has gone down. I want to make it clear. Now, we talked about volcanic gas, the VOG, It's smog, volcanic caused smog. SO2 emission rates and carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. That's what we're talking about. The SO2 sulfur dioxide emission rate is now approximately 61 tons per day. 61 tons per day. That was just prior to the current emission. Sulfur dioxide SO2 gas emission rates are currently elevated now the eruption has happened. Measurements will be reported in future updates. Now, I tried to speak to someone over at Hawaii Volcanic Observatory today. I first got a recording, then I spoke with someone else after that. They do not have any measurements ready to talk to us about. Those measurements will probably happen tomorrow. Now, the lower rift zone observations, meaning where the eruption is happening in that fissure. The rates of seismicity, the earthquakes, and the ground deformation between the middle and the lower east rift zone and the lower southwest rift zone are low. The number of earthquakes that are now happening have decreased. Eruptive activity and unrest is restricted basically to the summit area of the volcano and the upper rift zone region. Measurements from the continuous gas monitoring stations downwind of Pu'u'o, which is northeast of Kilauea, in the Middle East Rift Zone, remain below detection limits. The measurements around Pu'u'o volcano are below measurement limits, meaning that's good. There is no danger around Pu'u'o right now, but the entire volcanic park has closed for the time being until scientists and USGS determine it's safe. The SO2 and CO2 emissions from Pu'u'o are negligible. Now, magma has been pressurizing in the system beneath Halemaumau crater Kilauea in the South Caldera region, activating seismicity in the upper rift zone and the caldera south of Magma, where we're seeing now. It has increased since April. As I have reported during the past month or so, the earthquakes have actually increased. It's been increased exponentially. A few more earthquakes, then a larger amount of earthquakes, and a larger amount of earthquakes. Okay? Renewed seismicity and deformation began to increase rapidly, starting at about 12 p.m. yesterday, Hawaii time. 12 noon yesterday, Hawaii time. The style of seismicity, the style of earthquakes, and the coupled inflation, meaning the rising up of the ground at Sand Hill and the deflation at Ukakuna Bluff, indicated that the magma was moving beneath the surface during the stages of dike formation. When the magma was trying to move up through the rock to erupt, we had more and more earthquakes. More and more earthquakes. Some of the earthquakes lasted longer time period as the magma moved up through the rock in the ground. This rock, the magma moving through the rock, causes rock movement, doesn't it? Just as it does at volcanoes. The magma fractures the rock. That's causing the earthquakes. Okay? Now, Richard is saying there were 7 earthquakes in Hawaii in the last 53 minutes. That is better than it has been before. Rates of seismicity mean the number of earthquakes and deformation has increased greatly after 5 p.m. yesterday, prompting the Volcano Observatory to raise Kilauea alert level from a yellow advisory to watch orange. As both strong seismicity, the strength of the earthquakes, and the increased inflation, the rising up of the ground, indicated that a dike had been emplaced. The dike was moving. The magma beneath the ground was moving up. And magma could reach the surface at any time as of last night. After 5 p.m., the USGS Volcanic Observatory said the magma could reach the surface at any time. And it did at 12:30 a.m. this morning. Okay? The Sandhill tiltmeter, for example, recorded the onset of rapid deflation at approximately 8 p.m., just prior to the eruption. And it continued until about 9:30 p.m. A drop of approximately 20 microradians was recorded and seismicity decreased. The number of earthquakes decreased during this period. There was no additional earthquakes that were identified. And it's likely the magma moved seismically without creating earthquakes, meaning there was probably no rock to fracture. The magma had already found a tunnel of its own, an open area without having to fracture any more rock. Okay? And into the dike, the magma was formed just southwest of the current eruption. That magma dike started occurring in January this year, late January into February. So this has been ongoing for quite some time. Both the seismicity, the number of earthquakes, and the tilt decreased after this event repressurized from the January to February dike system. The increased pressurization, meaning the amount of magma forcing its way through the rock, allowed the older magma stored near the surface to slowly move upward until the eruption was triggered at 12:30 a.m. this morning. The new magma was forcing the old magma slowly up to the surface. So the new magma had a course, had a tunnel to follow, forcing the older magma to the surface. Tremors created by degassing. Remember, what is magma comprised of? Molten red lava, basically. The lava reaches up once it reaches the surface. Magma beneath the surface is called magma. Okay? So the magma had already reached an area where the old magma was, and the new magma was forcing the old magma to the surface. But what is magma? 6 to 7% of magma is water. 6 to 7% of magma is water. So what is happening? As the magma reaches the surface, it's going to degas. All that water vapor is forcing its way up through the tunnel where it was, forcing its way up. And then we get SO2 and CO2 gas coming up from the ground. That's what's happening. Okay? I want to make sure everybody understands that. Now, Diane Kelman is asking, could the activity cause sinkholes? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. That's not part of what is going on. Okay? Scientists don't believe it causes sinkholes, and neither do I. It could deflate. Yes, it's already deflating. Okay? That ground is called subsidence. Okay? The deflation is making the ground go down. It's called subsidence. Okay? Tremors created by degassing when a dike nears or breaks the surface began prior to the lava reaching the surface. Degassing made its way through the rock. Okay? Little tiny cracks in the rock. So the water vapor with the SO2, sulfur dioxide, from the magma beneath, and the CO2 also from the magma beneath, was degassing through the cracks in the rock. Okay? Unreal. But there were tremors caused by the degassing, meaning the gases from the magma beneath were a large amount of gas. Okay? Now, to date, what has happened? There was a slow opening of the fissure system. The gas was allowed to be released from the magma through those tiny cracks. So we know, the scientists are telling us that we know that as that gas made its way through the ground, it degassed, and it documented the slow opening of the fissure system. The hot gases, okay, the very hot gases, probably 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, were making its way through the cracks in the rock. Okay? What happens? That hot gas allows those cracks to enlarge. This is a science lesson here. The hot gases make the cracks enlarge, allowing more and more gas to escape. And when that happens, as the gas enlarges the cracks, what happens? It allows the magma up through the cracks, and all of a sudden we have lava on the surface of the ground. Okay? But there were tremors from that degassing that happened, causing the rock to move, right? There was rock fraction as that gas caused the holes to get larger. Rock fraction caused by the gases. Okay? That began before the lava reached the surface. That documents a slow opening of the fissure system. To date, only a slow opening of that fissure system allowed a small volume of lava erupted from the 4 fissure segments that followed the crack. Okay? Due to the presence of stored lava, this eruption could end without producing much more lava, or it could continue to develop over the coming days and weeks into a bigger, larger event if the new magma has and will erupt. There is new magma down beneath the surface now. The new magma forced the old magma that was beneath the surface to go out onto the surface. Okay? Due to the remote location from this eruption, the remote location, again, the Kilauea volcano is up here. Halemaumau crater is here. The fissure is way down here. Okay? Due to that remote location, nobody can see exactly what's happening right now. There are only geologists and USGS scientists that have even documented the eruption happening right now. Only one or two pictures that I showed you just a few minutes ago are what have come out from the USGS. The primary hazards at this time are complete airborne hazards related to the gas emissions and the amount of tephra, the ash being blown from the eruption site. Okay? The gases and the magma coming out of the fissure from the volcanic eruption, the lava that's fountaining right now. Okay? That is being blown out of the fissure, right? And with that is ash going up into the air and toxic gases SO2 and CO2 being blown out from the fissure eruption, from the what do I just call it? Doggone it. I hate it when I have a brain fart. From that fountaining, okay? The fountain is lava being blown out into the air, right? And ash from that, and the toxic gases related to those emissions are being blown downwind from the eruption. It's called VOG. VOG. Now, the Hawaii Volcanic Observatory is going to continue to closely monitor this for changes. But the HVO does not anticipate any threat to any communities or infrastructure due to the location of these vents. Okay? They don't expect anything to happen. The USGS Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory has lowered the volcanic alert level from ground-based observations from warning to watch, and the aviation color code from red to orange. It was red when it first erupted back at 12:30 this morning. Okay? Diane Kelman says, can you imagine the pressure before it blows? Oh yeah. The pressurization of that dike must have been immense. We had 130-foot fountains, 130 foot in the air of lava. That's huge. That takes pressure to get up that high. Can the pressure be measured? The Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory has said yes, it has. And they have recorded immense pressure. Okay? There is some kind of seismic form, or not seismic, there's some kind of formula that the USGS has for the earthquakes, the number of earthquakes and the strength of these earthquakes, and what happens just prior to the eruption. They have a scientific formula, and I don't have that. Okay? Folks, it's huge. It's huge. Now, will we get updates very soon? Yes. The USGS Hawaii Volcanic Observatory will provide daily updates while the Kilauea volcano is erupting. The Hawaii Volcanic Observatory continues to monitor Kilauea. Should there be a volcanic activity change significantly, then they will issue a volcanic activity notice. They will issue another significant volcanic activity notice. Either the alert level will go back to red, or it will go down to green or yellow. It will probably go down to yellow, okay, meaning a cautionary advisory. If the amount of magma, or actually, if the amount of lava above the surface goes down. The amount of lava goes down, meaning the fountaining decreases. Now, this is what happened in December 1974. The amount of lava decreased until it stopped 6 days later. That's what they're hoping happens now. But it could change. The amount of lava could increase, meaning the eruption could go on for days, weeks, or even months. The scientists at USGS.gov don't think that's going to happen. They're going to continue to monitor the situation, and they will issue a volcanic activity notice as the situation progresses day to day. The hazards are present on Kilauea are described. Residents and visitors should stay informed and follow the County of Hawaii and Hawaii Volcanic National Park guidelines. They should follow the guidelines. Okay? Kilauea eruptive activity is occurring within the closed area of the Hawaii Volcanic National Park. The high level of volcanic gas, primarily water vapor, H2O, water vapor from the magma, 6 to 7% of magma is water. The high level of volcanic gas, including water vapor, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide, SO2, that's being emitted is a primary hazard of concern. Now, as this hazard can have far-reaching effects downwind, as SO2 is released from the summit, it reacts in the atmosphere to create a visible haze known as volcanic smog. Okay? That has been observed downwind from Kilauea. Right now, there are no communities near there. And the park is closed, so there are no tourists in that area. Okay? VOG creates a potential for airborne health hazard to residents and any visitors. It damages agricultural crops and plants. It affects livestock naturally. Livestock need air to breathe, don't they? If they are involved or start getting or breathing VOG, SO2 and CO2, it could kill them. We saw that happening back in 2019 when the fissures erupted over in the fern forest and the East Rib Zone, okay, out in Leilani Estates. Now let me show you that area right now. I want you to be able to understand what happened. Okay, way down here to the south is Pahala. That is where Laura Marie's son graduated from high school, right there. Okay, now that's a long distance from where this eruption is happening. Okay, Pahala is way down here. Okay, Kilauea is way up here. And this is where the 200 plus earthquakes are still happening, and the area here is where the eruption is happening here. It's a great distance from where Pahala is, and the park is closed. Okay, right now they don't believe that anything else is going to happen. This area down here, okay, right here, this is called the East Rib Zone. Or I should say East Rib Zone. This is fern forest. Notice, these are current pictures. Notice where lava made its way down to the sea here. Okay, it also went up into fern forest. Okay, from fern forest all the way up here to Leilani Estates. Okay, all that lava came up here in 2019. First, it opened up in fissures. It first opened up in fissures, and then as the amount of lava decreased above the surface, all of a sudden it decreased and there were left craters. There were left craters that were emitting the lava. Craters and cones. Those craters and cones are now named volcanoes. Remember, the lava erupted in 24 fissures. 24 different fissures, starting way down here in fern forest, all the way out here into Leilani Estates. Okay? That's what happened. And as you can see, the lava here in Fern Forest made its way down to the sea and opened up more Hawaii real estate. It afforded Hawaii more real estate. Some of that lava also made it over here to the sea just northeast of Leilani Estates. Okay, it covered a great area. Over 1,500 homes were burned down to the ground by the lava that erupted from those fissures. Okay, they don't believe that's going to happen again, at least right now. As long as we keep the livestock away from the lava that's erupting, that shouldn't be a problem right now, because the Hawaii Volcanic Park is closed and there's no livestock anywhere near it. So we don't have that problem right now. But you can find VOG information at https://vog.ivhhn.org. Let me repeat that website again. More VOG information can be found at www.https://vog.ivhhn.org. Okay? Now, there are other significant hazards that remain around the Kilauea caldera. From Hale Mau crater, the wall is unstable. The crater wall around Hale Mau crater, Kilauea, has wall instability. The ground is cracking. As I pointed out to you a few minutes ago, there is ground cracking in rock falls that could be enhanced by earthquakes within the area closed to the public. That area is all closed to the public. This underscores the extreme hazardous nature of the rim of Kilauea that has been closed to the public since early 2008. The present viewing area is far enough away from Kilauea crater that there is no present danger if people were to get near the viewing area right now. But the viewing area is closed because of the VOG. The sulfur dioxide, the CO2, SO2 in the air, they don't want anybody near it. Okay? That area right next to Kilauea crater itself, Hale Mau crater, has been closed since 2008. Now there's also been other eruption closures. The Kuo Desert area, for those of you that are familiar with this area, the Kuo Desert area is closed due to eruption hazards, including the Helena Pali Road. The Helena Pali Road, meaning the road towards Helena Slump. Now, the next name of a campground is going to be hard for me to pronounce, so bear with me. The name is Kilauea. I knew I'd butcher it. I tried before I got on the air to pronounce the name of this campground. Kilauea o Kuaki. Okay? Kulanao Kuaiki. Kulana-o-Kukuaiki campground, or the Mauna Iki Trail, and the backcountry areas are closed. Eruption closures. They're not going to allow anybody in that area at all. Okay? For those of you in Hawaii, you know what I'm talking about, even though I butcher it. I'm sorry about that. Does anybody have any questions about the Kilauea eruption before I go on? Now, there are a lot of earthquakes all over the world. This has been a very, shall I say, seismically active day. Actually, it's not just today, but it's been very seismically active during the past 72 hours. earthquakes all over the place. None of those earthquakes are very volatile, meaning nowhere near public areas, or I would have already come on the air. Now, besides Hawaii, we have had earthquakes over in Tonga. This is a 5.3 earthquake over in Tonga today. This earthquake came out as a 5.6. They reduced that to a 5.3. Right next to it, we have a 4.5 earthquake there. Okay? South of there, over to the west, this is the Loyalty Islands. This is also a 5.3 earthquake in the Loyalty Islands. Okay? South of there, over near the Kermadec Islands, we have a 5.0 earthquake there. USGS is not reporting anything but the large earthquakes. Nothing. But I need to report about this over on the North Island of New Zealand. Look at all those earthquakes here. Okay? This is what we affect the catcher's mitt. Okay? Folks, we have earthquakes here in this area. This is a 2.1. That is in the catcher's mitt. Okay? But over here, right here, they have since taken earthquakes off the map. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. That area is a very volatile area. They've taken earthquakes down. But right over here, they're now reporting this as a 2.72 earthquake. They've taken a 4.9 earthquake down. A 4.9, 5.0 earthquake hit right here as well. Incredible. They took a large earthquake down completely. They first upgraded that earthquake from a 4.9 up to 5.4. Then they downgraded to 5.3. That was last. And then they took it down. Now, what do you need to know about this area? As I explained about New Zealand the other day, this area is another subduction zone. You see the earthquake fault here? That is significant. This fault comes out of Tonga. There's another fault right here. This fault comes out of Fiji. This area right here is a subduction zone. They have said within the next 25 years, they expect an 8.0 earthquake to happen here. This is Gisborne, New Zealand here. They expect an 8.0 earthquake along the east coast of New Zealand here. That's a big deal. That would be a very major earthquake here. You can see the seismic buildup here. The seismic buildup has been occurring here for a very long time. From these moderate earthquakes up here, this is a 2.48, but we've had 4.5s and 4.8s here in the Kermadec Island area, just north of the mainland New Zealand here. This here is a 2.48. Then here we have another moderate 4.12. That is on that same fault coming out of Fiji. A 4.1 moderate quake. From there, we have 2.48, 2.84, 2.81 just above the catcher's mitt there. Then it gets less and less over by Gisborne. 2.66, 2.45, like right here. Now there are a lot of earthquakes hitting here, as you can see. Then we go just south of the catcher's mitt. This is Nguru, Hokkaido, New Zealand. This is a 2.21. I'm not going to show you every earthquake, but I want to show you these because this is important. 2.21, 2.34, 2.40. This is west of the supervolcano Topo volcano. Now I'm going to enlarge this so you can see where Topo Volcano is. Topo Volcano is right here. This is Topo Lake. The water is at the top of Topo Volcano. This is a supervolcano. Notice where this earthquake is here. The seismic energy is coming out of Tonga here. Okay? Seismic energy coming out of Tonga. 2.21. 2.32. It hasn't yet reached over here to Topo Lake, has it? But it could. It's happened before. Okay? South of Topo Lake. This is just north of Rapayu. Rapayu volcano. Here's a 2.78. This is Rapayu volcano right there. South of Rapayu, we have a 2.78 there. But I want to go down here into the Cook Strait here. The water between the North and South Island of New Zealand is called the Cook Strait. We have earthquakes there. This is a 2.49. Earlier today, right here, there was a 4.41 here, a moderate earthquake. It has since been removed. They don't want us to see exactly what is going on. Yes, the 4.41 was out here in the water. Nobody was affected by it because it was far enough from shore, nobody even felt that earthquake. It was only a moderate earthquake, and the water here absorbed the shock waves of that quake. Okay? Further south, we have a 2.68 and a 4.14 again here. So we had a 4.41 up here, and you can see what happened here. Okay? Another 4.14. Just on the shoreline of the North Island. Here is a 2.27. 2.27. And further inland towards Christchurch, Marlborough, Waihopai Valley, Marlborough, New Zealand. We have a 2.49 there. Christchurch is right here. Christchurch is right there. We go further south. Now, what I'm showing you now is coming out of the earthquakes are on another fault zone. This fault zone is coming out of Fiji. Coming? These earthquakes here are 2.42 and a 2.993.0 earthquake there on the lower southeast rib zone here. I'm sorry, southwest rib zone here on the South Island, New Zealand. Any questions here? Any questions about what I've just showed you? There are a lot of earthquakes here in New Zealand. Probably close to 40 earthquakes here in New Zealand, as I showed you here. A lot of earthquakes. And yet USGS is not reporting anything there. They took down the 5.0 just near the shoreline of Gisborne, Australia, which is right here. Right here. Gisborne, Australia. That was a 4.9, 5.0 earthquake earlier this morning. And they're not wanting to show it to us. Crazy. It's called insanity. Over in Papua, Indonesia. This is another moderate 4.1. As you can see with these earthquakes here, there's 28 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 28 earthquakes here in Indonesia. Now, I want to show you something. This is something that we need to know about. Okay? This is in Sulawesi, Indonesia. Near the same area, there's another volcano. Luo Tolo volcano, near Halmahera, Indonesia. Luo Tolo erupted just the other day. Luo Tolo's been erupting off and on for quite a while. Luo Tolo erupted up to 60,000 feet. 60,000 foot eruption here at Luo Tolo volcano. Way up into the stratosphere. Way up into the stratosphere, and it's still erupting. Not as high today, but it has. Okay? Luo Tolo volcano has been erupting. And people in Indonesia have been evacuated from around those islands. It's been evacuated before. Now, Linda Covington is asking for everybody to become a member when you can. Become a member of the EMA company. Become a member of the EMA family here. We are going to have members-only meetings. The member-only meetings is probably going to occur on Wednesday. It's probably going to occur midday Wednesday. So those members can stand by for a member meeting with me. Me and whoever is members of our program. Members of the EMA program. You guys were going to talk about creating emojis. Specific EMA emojis that you can display here in our chat. Okay? I'm also in the process of working with a company, a distributor, that will put out EMA stickers. EMA stickers. EMA stickers similar to what you see behind me right here. Let me turn this so you can see it. The stickers will be something similar to this. This was made by a viewer of ours. Okay? This was made last year by a viewer of ours right here. The stickers will be something like this that you can purchase from our EMA program, or if you've contributed a great deal of donations to us, a great deal of donation money to our program or to me personally through a PayPal or Cash App donation, I will send you one of those stickers. Okay? Like I said, I'm working on putting together a sticker with a distributor so it will keep the cost down for everybody. I don't want anybody to have to purchase a very expensive sticker. But I will be giving stickers to people who give us significant donations. Okay? I'll be sending those out when those stickers become available. We'll be talking about that on Wednesday as well. I appreciate all of you who have already joined the EMA membership family. I really do appreciate that. It means a great deal to me. I appreciate all of you who have contributed both to our Super Chat and our membership. We have not had a significant donation in about a week or so to our PayPal. Okay? My cousin Donna, and I call her my cousin because I believe she's probably a distant cousin of mine, she and her husband Gregory gave us I can't say sizable, but they gave us a good donation about a week and a half ago. That was on PayPal. We haven't had many donations on PayPal in quite a while. We used to get PayPal donations 2 or 3 times a week. Just like 2 or 3 times a week, we used to get cards and letters in the mail. Some of those cards and letters had money in them, but not all of them. Over here on my bookshelf, I've got cards and letters that I've accumulated since Christmas. In 2 other boxes that I have, I've put those boxes together because there are so many cards and letters that I received during the past 5 years, and I've kept every one of them. I have kept every one of them. Those cards and letters mean a great deal to me. So I appreciate everything you do here. Okay? I appreciate everything you do. It means a great deal to me. Okay? And my wife. It really does. Now, I want to talk also about a planetary alignment. And unfortunately, the NASA, go figure, NASA will not let me show a picture that NASA had of the planetary alignment that happened this morning. Now, a planetary alignment is a term referred to as a rare positioning of planets in the solar system. From Earth in the sky, it looks like the planets are aligned. But in reality, they're not completely aligned out in space. The planets appear to be aligned in such a way that they all appear to come in a straight line as we view them from Earth. The planets will orbit the sun. They'll orbit the sun in the same plane called the elliptic pattern, or the elliptic plane. The planets will orbit the sun in roughly the same plane called the elliptic plane. And at certain times, like we see today, and they're going to continue happening during this month of June, their positions line up in a way that makes them look to us like they're close together in the sky. It's happening because of the specific orbit speeds and paths of the planets around the sun. Starting today, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus and Neptune are going to dazzle the sky as they near each other in the solar system, giving stargazers something special to look at in the morning. Today's planetary alignment was kind of spoiled because the sun came up so early. The sun came up early enough where you could just barely see, if you had a telescope or field glasses, you could just barely see the planets in alignment. Okay? But if you get up early enough before the sun comes up and you wait till just before the sun comes up, you're going to see those. This unique planetary alignment occurred today before sunrise, and we're going to have another opportunity for sky gazers called the Parade of Planets in 2024. 6 planets, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, are to link up before dawn on June 3rd today. Okay? Earlier, NASA said that this planetary parade won't offer much of a view. Ronald, who's a theoretical astrophysicist at NASA's Goddard Space Center, said the photo sun-bombed the parade. The photo sun-bombed the parade, or the sun was interrupted the parade because the sun came up, and because of the sun coming up, it just barely obliterated the perfect view it had right before sunrise. The planetary alignment describes a rare positioning of the planets in alignment within the solar system. During this phenomenon, the planets seem to align in a straight line, creating an illusion. It's important to note that the planetary alignment is more of an optical illusion than an actual event. However, every time we've had one of these planetary alignments, what happens? For those of you that are new to this channel, we haven't talked about planetary alignments a lot, but during the past 5 years we have. When we've had planetary alignments, it's caused electromagnetic radiation to come from outer space from the planetary alignments, creating electromagnetic radiation that hits the Earth's surface. Electromagnetic radiation hits the Earth's surface, causing earthquakes. How's that possible? Just like the solar radiation, the ultraviolet or the plasma radiation coming from the sun. It heats up the plates, the tectonic plates. It also heats up the core of the Earth. So does the magnetic radiation coming from the planetary alignments, the electromagnetic radiation. It heats up the plates and the core of the Earth. When it heats up the plates, all that gunk and grime that holds those plates in place, the gunk and grime, the sand, the dirt, the biological material and rocks and everything else, get heated up by that electromagnetic radiation, and then all that gunk turns into an oily, greasy-like substance, allowing the plates to more freely move. I think that's why we've had so many earthquakes around the globe today, because of the planetary alignment this morning. Most of those earthquakes that have happened, and even the eruption of Kilauea volcano, could have been caused by the planetary alignments. According to NASA, the planetary alignments take place when 2 or more planets come close together in the sky to form what they call a conjunction. The conjunction. Okay? Now that's called what they call a planetary alignment, a conjunction of planets. They seem to form a line. The next planetary alignment is scheduled for August 28th and will also involve the same 6 planets. This planetary alignment that happened this morning will pretty much stay in the same area. But as we go through the next few days, the planets will separate even further apart. The next planetary alignment we have is August 28th, and the planets, the same 6 planets, will come together again. Okay? Now, the report states that in 2025, next year, 3 similar events are going to be anticipated. They're going to be anticipated, meaning it may or may not happen completely. The first alignment next year is supposed to happen on January 18th, the second on February 28th, and the third August 9th. Okay? The second and third occurrences will collectively feature 7 prominent planets: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. 7 planets. NASA said that the parade of planets can be witnessed exactly 1 hour before sunrise, based on their local time. Due to the bright light, the sun, it may be challenging to observe all the planets with only the Moon, Mars, and Saturn being clearly visible in the sky. Interesting, huh? The other planets would likely require the use of a telescope or field glasses in the very least to be able to be observed. Okay? Interesting, huh? That's what is going to happen. Does anybody have any questions about planetary alignments? Okay? I know I've covered it pretty fast. I know I've covered it very fast. Richard Smith says, chugging along, lost in space. Richard Smith put in the chat a locomotive and a rocket. The locomotive chugging along in outer space and a rocket going, boom, gone. Mach 3, Mach 6, Mach 10. Incredible. And yes, rockets go fast like that, including the SpaceX great big huge rocket that's actually, they believe, going to be launched from Texas within the next few days. I'll keep you informed about that as well. I love space launches. I have not missed one manned spacecraft launch. The SpaceX major vehicle launching from Texas will not be manned. It will be an unmanned rocket, and it's scheduled to make a touchdown in the Indian Ocean again. Okay? Diane Kelman is asking, can I give you an idea of the alignment schedule again, the dates that they'll be available? Again, let's go back to August 28th this year, at about the same time sunrise. Then again, January 18th, February 28th. Okay? January 18th, February 28th, and the third one scheduled for August next year, August 9th. Okay? Okay? So 7 planetary alignments on those 3 dates next year, as well as August 28th this year. Any other questions here? That's a good question. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Kathy Payne says her father worked on the trains. My father, actually not my father, but my grandfather on my dad's side, my dad's father worked for Union Pacific in southeastern Idaho, and my mom's stepfather that we really call our grandfather because of family issues. He became our step grandfather, but he was actually very close to my mother and other family members, so we called him Grandpa Foley. Grandpa Foley worked for Atchison, Topeka, Santa Fe, and San Diego. So I had railroad people on both sides of my family, and that's one reason why I'm very interested in trains today. That's why very soon I'm going to build a layout in my new home. Yes, a new home. Laura Marie says she would like to join but don't see the join button. If it doesn't seem to be showing up on her iPad. Laura Marie, I can see it on my tablet here. You have to go out of the chat in order to see it. It's right next to the analytics. Well, No, you're not going to see the analytics. I am. But it's right next to the video area beneath this video today. Okay? Just above the area where it says 82 watching right now, started streaming 84 minutes ago. It's right in that area. It's a join button. And I would love to have you join, Laura. That would be wonderful. Laura is a very dear friend of mine from way back. I don't even want to tell you how far back, but she's someone that I call my sister, literally. She's very close to me. I love her so much. She and her husband, John, are awesome people. Demon Catman says it's next to the bell, Laura. Great. Thanks, Demon Catman. DCM, you're awesome. Thanks so much. Or go on the channel, and it's there. Yes, it is. Okay? Kathy Payne says her grandfather used to work for UP Railroad, Union Pacific Railroad too. That's awesome. Okay? I have stories about Union Pacific. I could go on and on for hours about Union Pacific. Any other questions about the planetary alignments? Anything else about our channel? Anything else about membership? We have 3 membership levels, by the way. $1.99, $2.99, and $3.99. I've kept the membership levels low because I want people to be able to join. Some creators here on YouTube have membership levels as high as $50 a month. I do not want to do that. I want to keep membership levels low so you want to join. So you'll have the ability to join. A lot of people here on our channel don't have a lot of money. Some people are senior citizens or on a fixed income. I want to keep the membership numbers low, or not numbers low, but I want to keep the membership finances low so everybody can join if they want to. I think it's important. State New York 0099 says, please say hi to Mackenzie. I just did. Also, please limit the number of emojis to 2 or 3. Anything more than that, your chat will be disabled. You won't have your chat visible. So keep your emojis to a minimum. 2 or 3 at the most. Okay? No more than 4. And also, please stay on topic with what we're talking about. Kathy Paina says her grandfather was a brakeman. My grandfather, on my dad's side of the family, was a welder for the Union Pacific in Pocatello, Idaho. There presently is a locomotive in the California Railroad Museum down in Pires, California. That locomotive was brought from Salt Lake City to Pires, California. Right before I moved to Denver, I was there and took a picture of the locomotive. As it turns out, I did a lot of research. I took the number off the side of the locomotive and did a lot of research. I went back to the Union Pacific in Nebraska. I pulled the information and found out that my grandfather had made parts for that locomotive. He was a blacksmith. He made parts for a lot of other cars on the railroad. Some parts break, and my grandfather made parts for him. Right before my father died, there was a community railroad in Poway, California, just north of San Diego City. There was a community railroad that went about a mile in diameter. Actually, not diameter, a mile in length. My dad learned how to do blacksmithing on that railroad in Poway, California, just like his dad did. So I'm very fortunate that my dad also worked on a railroad. And for those of you that might know me, you also know that I used to work for the San Diego Trolley, which was a light rail system in San Diego. Right before I became a police officer, I worked for the San Diego Trolley. I was a cop on the trolley. Okay? So technically, I worked for the railroad. Don Patoka says a good friend is an engineer for UP. That's so cool. And I think you told me that before, Don. That's awesome. I love the Union Pacific as much as I love Atchison, Topeka, Santa Fe. And I have stories about both. It's cool. Richard Smith says a Pennsylvania company rebuilding old duplex model full-size working train. That's cool. That's cool. I love the Pennsylvania Railroad Company. They're good people. They're good people. Any other questions? Just so you know, in the past, I want to say 20 years, I have built 6 or 7 working model railroads. I built 6 or 7 model railroads that worked. They chugged down tracks through cities, towns, and out through tunnels in the mountains. Some of my layouts were 8 to 14 feet long and 4 foot wide. The railroads were pretty big. I love my railroads. And I built them to be working as if they were regular railroads. That was cool. One of my railroads that I took to a railroad show, yes, they had model railroad shows all over the United States. I took it to a railroad show one railroad show in San Diego before I left. And that railroad was featured on the 5 o'clock news on television station Channel 8 in San Diego KFMB. I was a lead story on the 5 o'clock news that Saturday. I wish I had the videotape that KFMB sent me. It was great. I may write to KFMB and see if I can get a copy of it. My railroad was the lead story on the 5 o'clock news that Saturday. It was cool. It's like 1997, 1998. Diane Kelman says one of her cousins does that for a living. That's cool. That's really cool. Any other comments about our program so far? Any other comments about the program? I love trains. I love trains as much as I love the scriptures. Literally, I do. I love the trains as much as I love the scriptures. I'm in the scriptures many times during the day, off and on through a given day. I read 2 or 3 chapters in the morning. I come back in the afternoon or evening and I read another 2 or 3 chapters, sometimes more. It's fun. Aubrey says she wants a set of workable trains too. That's cool. She said she was denied because she was a girl. Girls make some of the best model railroads. I've seen it. It's great. Kathy Payne says her grandfather chased the hobos off the train. Unreal. Green River, Wyoming. I know where Green River is. It's a great place. She says he stayed at the Silver Mines for 1 week. Took 15 years before he could work in the winter. Oh yeah. Winters are really rough in Wyoming and Montana. Terribly rough. Any other questions? Right now, we're about to get a very severe storm. We've had some thunder, and so that means we've had some lightning here in the past couple hours. I want to get off the air before it might get even more dangerous to be on the air. Any other questions? S. Nora says, asked, what happened to all my model trains? I had to deassemble them because I didn't have room to put them on the truck with me when I moved. I disassembled them. I still have cars. I still have track that I need to put together. And when I do get the room in my new home, and by the way, I will be probably moving by the end of August, I would appreciate any help that you guys can give me monetarily so I can come up with a deposit of like $400, and then I think another $200 or $300 on top of that. And I think after that, I will be able to come up, I know I will be able to come up with the monthly rent payment come August 30th, August 31st time period. That will not be a problem. But I need money to come up with a deposit and another fee for moving. So if you want to help contribute to our program and helping us move and stuff and get settled, come the end of August, I'd appreciate all of your help for that. That would mean the world to me and my wife. Kathy Payne says, you don't get electrocuted. Yeah. I never had the problem. But when I get my new house, the end of August, I plan to have a train room, or partially a train room, where I can build a model train and have it running. That will be fun. That will be fun again. Okay? Anyway, I want to get off here before it gets much later. I want to go and read a scripture, well, a couple of scriptures here for you. The first one is in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 9, 10, 11. It's important. You might want to mark the scripture in your own scriptures. In verse 9 it starts, "But as it is written, eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for those that love him." It is written, eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yea, the deep things of God. Personal revelation. Personal revelation. Verse 11. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of a man, which is in him? Even so the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. God can reveal things to you. I promise you that. Then in chapter 3, the first two verses. And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babies in Christ. I have fed you with milk, not with meat. Not with meat. For hitherto you were not able to hear it, bear it. Neither yet now are ye able. Why does the Lord feed us milk? Because in some way, shape, or form, we are not able to understand what God has for us. We have to be spiritually ready. We have to be spiritually ready for God to give us information. Those people that know me know also that I pray a lot, more so than other people even realize. Why do I do that? Because I have specific questions that I want our Heavenly Father to give me answers for. Answers. Spiritual and physical answers. And then after I pray, I stay on my knees to listen to God to speak to me. I stay on my knees to listen to God for him to speak to me. It happens. It's happened many times. Sometimes after I get up and get moving, sometimes things will come to me. I will receive personal revelation. Each of us can receive personal revelation if we are spiritually in tune. That's important. If we are spiritually in tune. I testify that this is true. It's happened with me. It's happened with some of the people that are here on our chat. Because I've spoken to you about it. Some of you have received personal revelation for you and your families. It's a wonderful thing. And I know what will happen with you. I know that. Richard Smith says, may we truly say, it is well with me, my soul. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is well with our soul. Stan Grenfell says, hello, Ron, hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Some things are better than others. Some days are better than others. Last January, I finished radiation. I'd had prostate cancer and I was extremely radiated for 29 days. I'm having issues because of that radiation treatment. Your body will only be able to withstand so much. And I have issues today, over a year later. It could have been worse with chemo. Chemo decides that the chemo is going to destroy cells, not just the bad ones, but the good ones too. I have been very blessed. My mother went through some chemo and it destroyed her. I've seen it happen with other people. Brothers and sisters, pray. Pray and ask the Lord what He would like you to do. Heavenly Father will help us. I promise you that. Heavenly Father will bless our lives if we pray and read the scriptures. Linda Covington says hair loss too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fortunately for me, the radiation was in the middle lower part of my body. So I didn't have to have hair loss. Yes, I think I did have a little bit of hair loss, but nothing significant. But I'm very lucky. I'm the only male member of my family that has any hair. My uncles on my father's side, none of them have hair. My brothers don't have much hair left. My cousins don't have much hair left either. Like I said, I'm the only male member of my family with no hair loss. I got lucky. I got lucky. Folks, if you're a member of this EMA family, schedule about Wednesday morning about noon for a membership meeting. If that changes, I'll let you know. But schedule a member-only meeting about noon on here on YouTube. I'm going to make that happen, come heck or high water. Laura Marie, who like I said, is a very dear family member of mine, literally, her mother also got chemo, and it hurt her health. It definitely didn't help her. My mother died of cancer between her liver and gallbladder. In the duct between her liver and gallbladder, there was a grapefruit-like tumor. Instead of removing it like any other surgeon would have done, because they remove gallbladders all the time, my mother's doctor didn't want to do that. He said it was inoperable. My sister's husband is a dentist. After my mother's death, Brian went back to school. He went back to school and became a cancer specialist. He found out that my mother's cancer had been operable because of where it was in the duct area just above the gallbladder. He went and talked to my father and said, "Ted, we need to go after that doctor. He needs to have his license revoked." What did that doctor do? Instead of removing the tumor that was blocking bile in my mother's body, he decided to drill through the tumor. The surgeon went through the tumor, spreading the cancer. Together with the chemo, it killed my mother. Sad. Sad. And yes, I dearly love my mother and my father. My father's birthday is just 2 days from now. And I will be giving a tribute to my father probably Wednesday. Okay? So you hear me talking about my father on his birthday. Yes, I miss he and my mother terribly. I'm looking forward to the day when I can live with them again. wonderful, wonderful people, as all of your parents and family are. I know that. God bless your family. God bless your parents. It's hard when we lose them. But like the scriptures teach us, personal revelation, we can get it. Each of us can get it. I know we can. Yes, Diane, we will see them again. I promise you, we will see our parents and other family members again. I have a son that I didn't even get to raise. He died before he was born. I'll be able to raise him again. I'll be able to see him again. God bless our family members. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to let you go before it gets any worse with Stormwise around here wanting to be off the air and shut everything down. I love you. God loves you. Please know that. If anything else happens tonight or tomorrow before we come on the air, we'll come back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, guys, have a great night and a better tomorrow. Like I said, if you want to help support me, go over to our PayPal, 2 PayPal locations, and or our Cash App, and send us support to help us pay for our deposit for our new home. It will be a 3-bedroom home, not an apartment, but a home. I appreciate that so much. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much, everyone. I love and appreciate you so much. God bless. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.